Hi, it's Mark Griffin here from my living room in sunny Colorado. Beautiful day outside, and just managed to go out for a walk. But today I wanted to talk about resilience. As some of you probably know, I've written a lot of articles on LinkedIn over the last year and a half, but not been active on there for a few months, and for various reasons, professional reasons and daddyhood reasons. But with everything going on, I've been reviewing some of the things I've written, and this post on resilience just sort of stood out to me. Created a really simple model, which I'll pop up on the screen for you in a sec here, and just wanted to sort of chat through it. And anyone that watches this, hopefully there's a few little nuggets in there that might be helpful, just to help us all get the strength of mindset and character to continue to push through and support each other, so we can come through this process as best as we possibly can. So 4 pieces to the resilience model. First is providing some context. The second is catalysts that sort of take us through the whole process. The third piece kind of sits at the end of the model, which is the drivers, motivators, and then the last piece is the process itself, which I'll go into the most detail of. I'll link in the LinkedIn article as well if anyone wants to just kind of read through this. I'm not going to read through it. I'm just going to sort of chat through some of the things that stood out for me. So let's just get started with the context. 3 pieces to context: experience, mindset, and resources. Experience is interesting in this instance. Experiences are just a sum of all the kind of experiences, actions that we've taken before, and how those actions have resulted in outcomes and memories for us, and that provides the context as to how we react in situations like this. But for many of us, we won't have been through this exact type of experience, so we have to draw on other experiences, other challenges, other obstacles that we've had to overcome individually, together, and try to pull some of the strength from that. But also, because most of us won't have been through this type of experience as well, to really rely on the advice that we're being given, and to learn from some of the things we're seeing from the other countries. So let's take the best practices, let's take the advice, and push through with that. From a mindset perspective, the second part of context, it's just keeping a positive mindset. I know it's super hard to do. There's so much negativity out there, and obviously it's just pretty scary because of the reality of some of the challenges that we're facing here. But the 3 things I always keep in mind with mindset, front of mind every day, is focus, balance, positivity. So focus on what you can control, because there's so much right now you can't, and you can't let that get on top of the things that you can. So focus on the things you can control and do your absolute best with those. Positivity, just do your best to keep a positive mindset, be as optimistic as you possibly can be, and think about the best things that you can get out of this particular situation, and learn from other positives and other stories and other things that you're hearing from other people. And in terms of balance, because there's so much scary news out there, just try to balance it out a little bit. We've got family time now, we've got more time at home. This comes with its own challenges when you're trying to work from home, and I've got a 7-month-old, so I know. But there's a lot of positives to that as well, right? And so let's make sure we take those into account, and I'll talk a little bit more about positivity later. And the third part of context is resources. There's obviously tons of different resources that we can pull together here. We've got physical resources, we've got spiritual and mental resources, we've got social resources with regard to connections and other people, we've got particular knowledge, potentially resources and other things that we can draw upon, as well as the other physical resources we can physically kind of grab and take on here at home to help us through. So just making a resource list, thinking of all the different types of resources you have to support yourself and your family, but also resources potentially that you could maybe provide to support other people. So part 2, catalysts. In the model, you'll see the catalysts kind of go across the whole bottom of the model, because the process goes in 3 stages, and the catalysts help accelerate both our effectiveness and ultimately our outcomes throughout the process as we go from one to the other. There's 3 parts to the catalyst part. There's learning, leading, and teaming. So learning, obviously right now, we're all learning as we go. So the most important part with any learning is learn and act. So I always think of learn, act, adapt. Learn, act, adapt. So we can just continue to improve in that little triangle, bit by bit, every day. We're all going to learn something to enable us to tackle the next day a little bit better. Leading is as with any leadership, starts with self-leadership. And I like to say on this that just lead as if you're someone you would like to follow, right? It's just setting a good example. Do the right thing. Don't be selfish in this situation. Hunker down at home. Do avoid other people. Avoid mixing in social places. Don't hoard all the food. Just set the right example. Like, who would you be, if you're somebody that other people want to lead or other people want to follow? That's what we need to achieve right now. So just think about that, because the greater good here is the most important part. Teaming is the third part of the catalyst, and teaming speeds everything up through the support system, right? The support network. Now, right now, that might be a virtual support network. My family back in England aren't seeing each other at all, but they're all connecting regularly and supporting each other and ordering things for people online. And they might even take the kids over to go and play at Nan and Grandad's playground and talk to them through a window, right? It just is what it is, but you've got a support team. So use your support team, and what resources and knowledge and experience can you bring to support other people? Think about other people in need that maybe don't have some of the support that you do, and try to provide some of that support as best you can. So third part of the model is drivers. Drivers, those motivators, those things that keep us going, the ultimately kind of light at the end of the tunnel. Three parts to drivers: meaning, focus, and destination. The meaning's just simple. Who and what do you love and care about? Why and why, right? Just keep those things front of mind the whole time. They're going to keep you going. Whenever I struggle with anything, even if it's just like a really tough workout, I always think about my little lad Hudson, who's 7 months old, and basically had to fight for his life, the whole first week of his life, and was just such an inspiration. And I think, well, like he could overcome that with no resources himself other than the will to live, and it just puts things in context and motivates me to push myself. So what gives you meaning? In terms of focus, we talked about the focus part of mindset. This focus here is about action, right? So these are drivers, these are doers, these are things that are pulling us along, incentivize us to keep going. So in this instance, it's about narrowing focus, right? So we talked about focus on the things you can control. So now narrow the focus to the things that you can control that can have the most impact. The narrower you focus on the right things, on the things that matter, the more effective you're going to be. And the last part is the destination. And this bit's a little bit of fun, right? Especially while we're stuck at home, we're probably getting a bit claustrophobic. Have a go at doing a vision board. Destination, one of the fun parts of a vision board is a destination postcard, right? Draw some stuff up and write it, draw it, however you want to do it. But create a destination postcard. Where do you want to be in 5 years' time? What does that look like? Whether it's your career, whether it's somewhere you want to live, or multiple places you want to live. What does your life look like? What's the destination postcard? What's the image? Because we don't know enough about the short term right now. So let's just keep the eye on the long-term prize, and we'll continue by just making small little changes every day. You're going to take steps in the right direction to go forward and ultimately get there. So last part here, which is the most in-depth, is about the process. The process is broken down into its own four areas, and each of those have three subsections. So if you want to take a break, pause, take a break. Otherwise, we'll keep cracking on. But the 4 parts to process are action, character, purpose, and intuition. So we're going to start with action, and this is as simple as react, adapt, and rebuild. So right now we're reacting. We're making the best of the absolute best of the situation we can, right? And it's new for everybody, and it brings up its own challenges. So we're learning and doing and improving every day. And as we do that, we have to adapt. So we're having to adapt to staying at home. We're having to adapt to getting used to the new norm, and implementing these small changes and trying to catch these little positives along the way. It's going to really help us continue to push through for however many weeks it is or months that we're going through these challenges. And then the rebuild piece is once we get through this initial phase, and we're looking to get back into hopefully more of what we've known as being normality before. But let's not worry about rebuild right now, because it's out of our control, outside of what's right here in front of us. Now is about small changes every day. and getting the most out of this situation. Then we'll focus on the rebuild as a new norm once we get there. Character is the second piece to the actions here, and three pieces to this: grit, positivity, and perseverance. Grit, pretty straightforward, about just strength of character, and if you believe in something, you just never give up. You just keep going. That's a huge part of my kind of mantra every day, and never stop and never give up. If you believe in something, it's about continuing to go forward. So just having that strength of character and the belief that we will get through this, and we'll get through it, and we'll be better for it in one way, shape or form. That ties into positivity, because it's real hard to be positive at times like this, but I think one of the fun things I've noticed is just lots of little fun positive things that have come out of this, right? So we did a little Zoom call of my whole family today. That was really nice. We're being part of a virtual retreat this weekend here, doing some yoga and some meditation, some other stuff, virtually with people from all over the country. There's been tons of different charity drives, and I'm going to plug my the organisation I founded, Play Rugby USA, here, along with other tons of small charities, and the area I was in, specifically sports-based non-profits, where schools are closed down, their revenues are therefore closed down, the gala dinners are being pushed out. It's a brutal time, so have a look, check out into some of the charities that you're familiar with. If you're in a position to support them, please do. I know you've got to take care of your own house first. I just think that you're seeing hangouts, fun, happy hours, like all these other things happening. Like some of those things are going to be things that we can continue to do to actually have the opportunity to reconnect with some of our friends and stay more connected, even when we've come out of this. And then perseverance, of course, is absolutely critical, because we're learning as we go, and this is going to get tedious, and it's going to get frustrating, and we're not going to be in control of all the outcomes, but we just have to keep persevering, because perseverance is what keeps you going up the curve in the right way, as opposed to it flattening out or even you kind of regressing back down. But it's also perseverance that's going to flatten out this curve from COVID as well, and hopefully prevent some of the big bad peaks that we're seeing in Italy. So combine some perseverance with patience, and it will go a long way. Third part of the process is purpose. Purpose is about surviving, solving and thriving, if you're looking at it in a process perspective. You may have your own purpose, you may have your own kind of core purpose that anchors you every day and is kind of the why to your existence. Mine's to fill the world with vitality and purpose, and that's partly why I'm doing this, because I haven't been posting for a while, and some people are asking, I'm missing some of your articles and stuff, and so just doing this is good for me. It feels positive and fun, but hopefully somebody will get something out of it. So it helps me tick my purpose. But if we're looking at purpose through a process, it's first of all, the why right now is about surviving, and it's about surviving for us and for others by doing the right thing. From there, we can start to problem solve, and we can allow the experts to problem solve and the people in the medical fields to problem solve, to help us all come up with different solutions to getting through this problem. And if we can do that, we can thrive, which is the third part of the purpose. And the thriving piece is all about that destination postcard, and it's about being the best person we can possibly be every day. And that's an exciting part of where we're trying to get to here. And then last piece of this process is intuition. Intuition's got three eyes to it: instinct, insight, and inspiration. The instinct is a tricky one, because obviously instinct's this kind of gut reaction we have from past experiences that we've had, that enables us to just kind of know intuitively whether something's right or wrong. And so it's important to rely on your instinct now. If something doesn't feel quite right, that's probably true. Should we go out and do this? Well, take the cautious view right now, and your instinct will probably change a little bit over time as we get used to these sort of new environment that we're in. And from that, we'll start to gain some insight, and we're already getting some positive insights right now from China, for example, where this all started, and hearing about US businesses now reopening up in China, and they're sort of getting back to some form of normalcy, and obviously a completely different government system over there, and it's a lot of different way of being able to handle things and come through. But 3 or 4 months later, they're kind of starting to get back there. So that provides us a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel, and applying some of these experiences and insights from other countries, whether bad or good, can enable us to continue to kind of improve our instinct, improve our experiences, and improve our own actions. And ultimately, as we've got this kind of light at the end of the tunnel, the third piece and the last piece of the whole process here is inspiration. And it's always good to end with a bit of inspiration. We talked about the destination postcards, we've talked about thriving. This is about, now we're getting close to the end of that tunnel, and instead of just coming out the other end of the tunnel, we're just going to soar through the tunnel and soar up into the sky and just make the best of the absolute situation we can. Enjoy the fresh air, enjoy the blue skies, enjoy the view from above. As we're looking down, we've come up and sort of achieved so many of these things we want to achieve. All of those things are still possible if we take care of our own house and take care of our family and take care of our friends right now and get through this situation. So that's my resilience model. Again, you can see it up on the screen, and I'll put the link in to the LinkedIn article where all this stuff is posted for those of you that want to take a little read. Other than that, thank you for hanging in and being resilient enough to get through this post. I appreciate it, and I'll be back again soon with another subject. So look forward to speaking to you all again then. Cheers. Bye.